Follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
Come on, he's on down the road, yeah. Come on in, he's on down the road.
Hi guys, this is your cool Uncle Bob in Amsterdam once again. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to newbies. This week I'm finally taking you on a journey down that yellow brick road through the various incarnations of the Oz, or is that Oz? Anyway, there have been so many incarnations of the original story and so much cool trivia I would like to share with you. Most importantly, the lessons I have learned. As I said in the last video, I've learned more lessons in life through musicals than anything, and this one has offered many. And the yellow brick road is the common thread through them all. So join me on this journey. So, where do I even begin?
It's always best to start at the beginning, and all you do is follow the yellow brick road.
So it all began with the very first book written in 1900. It was written by L. Frank Baum called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. L. Frank Baum. Just a little hint, L. Frank Baum, L-F-B. We'll talk more about that later at the end of this yellow brick road. It's widely considered to be the very first original American fairy tale. Most of fairy tales we know are from the Brothers Grimm, like Little Red Riding Hood, or The Little Mermaid from Hans Christian Andersen. Apparently, Cinderella is originally a Chinese fairy tale, but this is the first American fairy tale starting in Kansas. The book was a huge hit. I hesitate to compare it to going viral, but people actually read books those days, and this was very, very popular. So much so that the publishers encouraged L. Frank Baum to continue writing sequels. In the end, he wrote 14 sequels. Now, one of the very first incarnations was a Broadway show, and L. Frank Baum gave them copyright permission reluctantly because this was a very burlesque adult musical version of the story of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Welcome to burlesque. Oh, everyone is
He didn't like that originally, but it was a big success. In the end, he made a lot of money off of that. The story was also produced in a radio program, but L. Frank Baum moved to Hollywood and started his own movie production company called, oh God, what was it? The Film Manufacturing Company. And they attempted to do a black and white film version of The Wizard of Oz. The company went bankrupt, not successful at all. L. Frank Baum finally died in 1919. And then, of course, we have the next incarnation, the big one, the one that almost everybody around the world has at least heard about, if not seen, and that's the MGM version with Judy Garland. So, I gotta start by telling you guys I have been watching a lot of YouTube reviews of the musical Wicked. I went down a big rabbit hole there. I think I mentioned that. But that led me down an adjacent rabbit hole of people watching this version of The Wizard of Oz for the very first time. And I've got to tell you, it has been one of the biggest joys watching you guys. Kind of like watching my kids that I've never had watching this film for the first time. I get to look in your faces instead of like glancing over And the surprises in your faces are just joyful. Like, you're a lot older, so you used F word a lot. Like, and you had so many questions, which I'm going to try to answer. Let's start with the production. You've probably heard this production was fraught with problems and injuries. To start with, oh gosh, Buddy Ebsen was cast as the Tin Man. My generation knows him as Jeb from Beverly Hillbillies, and generations before mine knew him as a incredible song and dance man. He was very popular, perfect for the role. But when they put the makeup on him, they used mercury powder, and he got deathly ill. He had to be in the hospital for almost 2 months, and they replaced him with Jack Haley. Also, Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch of the West. And the second take, which they didn't use, the elevator did not go down in time, and she got second-degree burns on her face with this green makeup. There are many documentaries, YouTube videos. There's even a whole movie called Under the Rainbow about the little people who were hired to play the Munchkins. Some of it is true, but much of it is just exaggerated. Judy Garland herself exaggerated some of the stories about the Munchkins. Anyway, so MGM put a lot of money into this musical, but it was one of like 140 films of that year, competing with Gone with the Wind, big classic. So in the end, it was a success in the theaters. Not the best financial success because it was often as a children's matinee, which people didn't pay a lot of money for. It was a lot cheaper to buy tickets on a Sunday matinee for kids. So yeah, moderately successful, but it wasn't until the 1960s when one of our network channels, we only had 3 channels to choose from back then on television. I can't remember which one, but one of them started showing this every year around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and that's where I entered the picture. Some of my earliest memories are watching this, jumping behind the couch when the Wicked Witch showed up in the crystal ball. And I believe that most people of my generation, gay and straight in America, saw this every year like I did. And that's why it's such an integral part of the American culture. Now, like I said, the lessons I've learned from this, well, there's a few. The main one is you had the power all along, Dorothy, and Tin Man and Scarecrow. The other one is the techniques of con men. And maybe that's prescient in this days, because I think some people out there do not have the bullshit meter that I do. I can smell bullshit from a mile away. And let's face it, there's this guy who's the head of the United States right now who is so full of bullshit. And I can't believe you can't recognize what a con man he is. But even this movie from 1939 can teach you a little bit about what a con man, their techniques are. Now, I'm afraid this week we're going to have to stop it there because, yeah, like I said last week, I had a lot of events to go to, and also, obviously, I'm really getting used to this editing and YouTube stuff. I probably put too much time into that intro. I don't know. You let me know in your comments. In the end, it turned out pretty good, but it took a lot of time and all this other editing inserts. I'm getting there. I'm getting better because I'm learning and I'm still having fun. So join me next week. We will continue this part. The original plan was to do it in 2 parts. Obviously, it's going to become 3, maybe even 4. We'll see how good I get at this. Anyway, thanks for coming again, and until then, be a good placer.
But Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have.